Very, 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 very frustrating. Yeah, what's poppin', people? Brentford have not won a home game in 7 games. Chelsea have not won an away game in 7 games. So, what do you know? Both teams extend that record 1 apiece to 8 and 8 as Chelsea draw a blank away at Brentford. To be fair, their goalkeeper, Flecken, had an incredible game. We'll have a look at him. But also, very, very frustrating from Chelsea's forwards. My word. If this isn't the final piece of evidence that Christopher Nkunku is A, not a Premier League player, is B, not in form. He hasn't had an opportunity to play himself into form, but clearly no form, no chemistry with Chelsea, no natural position with Chelsea. He is diddly done for if he hasn't been for a long time. Yeah, we'll get into it. The 2 best players of the match here on SofaScore are a Brentford defender and the Brentford goalkeeper. We'll get into it a little bit, what it means for our, qualification chances. I'm recording this before the Manchester derby, and of course Newcastle are yet to play again. Had Chelsea won this game, we would have gone in 2 points behind third. Look, this is a tough fixture historically. Last few years. I know they've been in poor form at home, but that always makes me nervous. We're going to get into it. I'm going to show you some stats on SofaScore. We'll talk about the ramifications and general stuff like that. A little bit of housework. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for liking this video. It does help me out, believe it or not. You just tapping like, and if you want to subscribe, you're welcome to. Let's get into it. Oh, wrong button, but there you go. It's just some widgets there. Right, so I'm going to show you some stuff on SofaScore for context. Here we are. Ding! It's a game of 2 halves, as you can see. Pretty even in terms of attacking momentum in the first half. But the second half was very Chelsea dominant, as you can see here. Player of the match, Mark Flecken, who has been so, it's just must be so nice having a very, very capable goalkeeper. Of course, the big talking points were the rotated lineup from Chelsea. We saw Nkunku start, we saw Dewsbury Hall start, and we didn't see... Basically, Reece James was playing at left back. Cucurella has been one of our better players, but he was being rested. I mean, ultimately, look at the players that came on for us here. Cucurella, Neto, Palmer, Jackson, all starters, really, aren't they? I know Cucurella didn't do much after coming on, but they are all starting players for Chelsea. Now, the natural inclination, and I kind of leading into this, is one of frustration towards the Chelsea manager, because this game is way more important, or will be way more testing than this Thursday game against Legia Warsaw. So the only thing I can think of, Jackson, he's probably the most important absentee, because even if he's not scoring and he's scuffing chances and the odd bad touch, you can see it's clear as day. We play, like, the stats on your SofaScores, on your other websites, will never reflect the true value of how better we play with Nicholas Jackson, how he just makes runs. Other players feel more comfortable to play rather than Nkunku up top. So Jackson has just come back from an injury. I get it. Don't aggravate the injury. We could say similarly with Cole Palmer, and of course with Cucurella and Neto, they might just be red zoning. So, the element of benefit of the doubt, the fitness team, the medical team were like, these guys are red zoning. We flogged them recently. They've played so much, and, a couple of them are coming back from injury. Give them, rotate, give Nkunku 45 minutes, see if he can do anything here. Spoiler, he couldn't, and what really frustrates me, and look, disclaimer, Nkunku is an excellent footballer, and he's an excellent finisher of chances. He's elite. It's hard to remember this because of what we're seeing this guy do on the pitch in front of us. But he just does not fit in any way. There was a moment where Fernandes played a ball that would have been to his feet, but he tried to run in behind for the first time in his Chelsea career. He always shows to get the ball to feet. And then Enzo's like, what the hell? And they're like, yeah, it's this really silly moment. But, the lineup's not bad. Sanchez, of course, And look at that back four, solid. And, you know, I understand why we're using those players. Of course, we've got the Fernandez and Caicedo, who both performed well on the day. Dewsbury Hall, bless his cottons, didn't do too much wrong. And then, you know, Sancho, to his credit, probably was the best. I know he's got the highest rating here on SofaScore, but out of him and Kunku and Madueke, he probably edged it. Of course, he lasted the game. And the attack just simply wasn't good enough. This is why, like, I'm annoyed, but I'm not I don't know, it's hard to explain. I watched how he played, and I kind of got it. Do you know what I mean? I was really pleased with the Tottenham win, about how we defended a 1-0 lead against a team that rallied. I felt that was quite Chelsea, and I was quite happy largely of how we were generally playing in this game, especially in the second half. But essentially, we didn't get that goal in the opening half hour in the second half, or 25 minutes in the second half. And that's when we needed to score it looked like, because this young team just don't believe in themselves. To be honest, Sharda, I think, was really disappointing for Brentford in terms of how well he can play. And if he played up to his ability, we could have lost this game. You know, Lewis Potter, Flecken. Lewis Potter, really good defensively, but also acting as a release valve going up the pitch. So let's talk about the stats then. Let's split the halves because it should be very interesting. So yeah, statistically, the first half was quite even. Even though we had slightly more possession, they had slightly higher XG, we had one more big chance, they had two more shots. So it's kind of like split down the middle, do you know what I mean? It was a very, very even first half, but we were looking at what was a very even first half, like, right, let's make the changes that we can do. And we did, and in the second half, we were better. Yeah, look, nearly 60% possession, 0.83 XG. Despite them having probably the best chance in the game, they still only got 0.66. We had 17 shots to their 3 in the second half alone. 21 shots to 9. So the second half, that is dominant. 17 to 3. You should be, if you're popping off 17 shots away from home to the opposition's 3, you should be, in my opinion, winning that half, especially if it's 5 corners to their 1. There was a lot of field tilt towards their side of the pitch, as you can see here in the attack momentum graph on the top left. It was for that period we needed to score, even of that little moment they had there, here to there, we needed to score basically and win the game. It didn't happen, and then from here onwards it wasn't going to happen, because, you know, you almost need like the Real Madrid, we always score kind of character. So yeah, no goals to show you, obviously lots of changes, and 0-0, very, very frustrating on the night. So let's just have a look at Flecken, because he did make a lot. He prevented over 1 XG, which is mad, by the way. Usually a good goalkeeping performance is like 0.4 or something. He made 6 saves, completed 1 run out, 2 high claims, 3 saves from inside the box. 60, should we just compare him to Sanchez? Because his passing accuracy, he was throwing, yeah, so his even though his team weren't showing as well as Chelsea, he still had a better passing accuracy than Rob Sanchez. Rob should be much better because he should have a lot more passing options and less reason to go long. Yeah, Flecken, an amazing game. So kind of, I want to be angry at Chelsea, and I am disappointed in Chelsea. I do think there's clear weaknesses we need to address, but also, like, you know, when this freaking an 8.5 player of the match happens in the goal, it does also contribute. In terms of Chelsea performances, Rob Sanchez, he made lots of mistakes at the beginning. Of course, he didn't concede. He did make a couple of saves. He's not good enough for Chelsea. I'm not going to waste much more airtime on that. Gusto, frustrating. James, very good, actually. He was tasked with locking down Mbermo the first half, which he did. To be honest, the defence was fine. I think Caicedo was very, very good. He did maybe flag a little bit at the end, but I think, you know, he's 2 out of 2 aerials. The majority of his ground duels. 3 key passes for what... You can't really say it. 3 key passes for, you know, defensive midfielder. Creative numbers, really. And I think Enzo was good, although at the end he frustrated me. He was taking shots when he shouldn't. Look, I'll talk about Nkunku at the end and Jackson and strikers generally. Noni annoyed me. His petulant attitude, when it doesn't go his way, he is a frustrating player to watch. I think Dewsbury Hall did himself no damage. I don't see him having a Chelsea career in future, but to alleviate, you know, pressure on Cole Palmer for 59 minutes, I think he did his job and he was very professional. I think he was subbed at the same time as Madueke, and he just, runs straight off, doesn't care, do it for the team. So I kind of like Dewsbury, who, again, he, as far as I'm concerned, he hasn't got a future at Chelsea. Sancho is a weird one because he's sort of fallen out of form as Chelsea have fallen out of form, but like, I kind of get why he was used today. Like, offensively, 0.07 XG, 0.04. Expected assists, very, very low, but he did make 2 key passes. He did complete his own ball. He lost the majority of his ground duels. Won an aerial duel. He's sort of serviceable, always showing for the ball. He'll be the first person to tell you he's not playing up to his ability, playing to his potential, playing the right balls. He'll be the first to tell you that. In terms of bench performers for Chelsea, yeah, it was Pedro Neto that stood out. He came on the same time as Palmer, but he looked like he could actually add width and a little bit of danger. Didn't misplace a single pass. Palmer, that last kick of the game looked like he could have won it for Chelsea, but Palmer of like 6 months ago would have done that. And to be fair to him, it was close. And Nkunku had an absolute stinker. I know Nico Jackson just got a 6.5 here on SofaScore, but really, it's just how he makes us play. It's the optics, it's the eye test. We literally function differently. The players trust him. And Nkunku, yeah, he's our worst ranked player on this stats website. He was just really, really poor, man. No disrespect to Nkunku, maybe a little disrespect for his attitude lately, maybe, but look, I give him his flowers. He's an amazing player. We bought him as an attacking midfielder who was the top scorer in the Bundesliga despite being injured for months. He scores goals. The France team was earmarking him as this Galactico starter with Mbappe or Ousmane Dembele. This is that guy. He's 27, 28. He's in the prime of his career. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. I'll stop waxing lyrical about him rightly after this. He is the only player that will score an overhead kick in our team, which sounds something like a really weird FIFA kid thing to say, and maybe to a degree it is, but you get these characters like Jude Bellingham for England and Real Madrid that will take that risk and score an overhead kick and win it. He's the only one who can score an overhead kick and tries them. And I feel like if we get a Galactico striker in number 9, and that might change, but I feel like it's good to have a player like that, and he is a great finisher. Look, he doesn't fit. His attitude stinks, let's be real. Let's highlight that immediately. I'm really, really annoyed with his attitude, frustrated with his attitude. He's got no chemistry with the Chelsea players whatsoever. And he just doesn't fit. And to be honest, I don't want to see him in the Prem again. Genuinely. Certainly starting. If we're winning by 2-goal margin and there's 10 minutes left, yeah, you can come and have a run around, mate. But other than that, I don't want to see him starting. Look, you can play still very, very relevant games in the Conference League knockout phases, quarterfinals, semi-finals. You can be a part of a good feeling. I know it's not the biggest tournament in the world, but it's something. As a professional footballer, I don't want to see this again. I've seen enough. Maybe Maresca saw something in training. And to be honest, the big mitigating factor here is that literally Jackson's just come back from injury and he's just played a game a few days ago, so that's probably it. But if they do scans on Jackson, he's all cool and it looks like there's no aggravation on his injury, that's it now. Jackson starts every game as a number 9 in the Prem, in the run-in, and we hope to freaking get over the line, bro, because this would have been a massive win. Look, I'm not going to pretend like Brentford away is a gimme, especially, and when a team's in bad form like that, and they have got good players, and Chelsea, there's just nothing surprises you in the Prem. Do you know what I mean? So of course, as it stands, we are still in 4th. We got an extra point from that 0-0 draw. So Man City, I've got a game in hand. Even if this Man United derby, if they lose or draw, we stay above them in 4th. And of course, Newcastle have got a couple of games in hand. They're 3 points behind. We've got a much more superior goal difference. So if Newcastle win their game, we will still be above them. It's tight, bro. Aston Villa have moonwalked into the scene. Freaking Fulham. Fulham are 5 points behind us after beating Liverpool. What is happening? For the neutral, must be freaking loving this, but Look, it's there. It's still there. The thing is with Chelsea, I know that everyone was whinging. We got to get these. We got to get these wins early because the wins later. You know, Liverpool just lost to Fulham. Liverpool, we could beat Liverpool later down the line. Do you know what I mean? I'm looking at we've got Ipswich, who are going to be relegated at home. Nothing's a given. They got a win the other day, so I'm absolutely, you know. And then Fulham away, that's massive. Fulham away, Everton at home, and then, you know, Liverpool at home. We can beat Liverpool at home. They could have even won the league, and then you've got a real chance. It's in your hands because you play Forest and Newcastle, your rivals. So they're all like finals. Maybe this game, you know, isn't seen. I don't know. It could happen. It's all up in the air. It's tense. It's frustrating. It's Chelsea. Let me know what you think, though, guys. Thank you for joining me. Please do drop a like, and thank you for subscribing. And I do hope to see you back here soon. Love you lots. Peace.